What's going on, everybody? We are here in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, about to meet with Brian Ngo, a serial entrepreneur at one of his restaurant establishments. I'm super excited about this episode because we're gonna have an opportunity to talk about art, something I'm very passionate about. We're gonna talk about work-life balance or the lack thereof, and obviously we're gonna talk about real estate. So let's grab some Vietnamese coffees and go talk to my guy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 100% Real with Alex. Today we have serial entrepreneur Brian Ngo, right here. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, where you coming from. I know you have 2 restaurants that you work at. You do real estate, and you're developing an app, which is insane. I don't know how you balance it, and you have a bunch of kids.
That is correct. Yes, I do. Well, yes, my name is Brian Ngo. I am Vietnamese Chinese American.
Okay.
I am a real estate entrepreneur, as you could say. I do juggle a lot of stuff on my plate at the moment. But started out, we're here at where it all began for myself. I started in this location, this restaurant, when I was 13 years old. 13, yeah. And my family, a little bit about my background. My family migrated from Vietnam to the U.S. when I was 6 years old.
Wow.
And my dad, at that time, it was me, my dad, my mom, and he only had like, I would say, $600 inside his pocket, and coming over to the U.S. with a dream that to become success.
The hustle was real.
The hustle is real. Yes, that's true.
So like he was always like a chef, and he always wanted to.
No. A little bit about him. Let me just give you a little story about him. He's a hardworking guy. He worked 3 jobs in the beginning when we came over here. We migrate from, I would say, apartment to apartments, and it was a tough time at that period of time. He worked in the factories, then he worked in the daytime. He worked started out as a busboy, and moved his way up in the restaurant, became managers on that side, and then he worked in another factory where they made dolls at nighttime.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
he worked 3 jobs.
He worked 3 jobs.
Start
a restaurant business.
So you guys have 2. So
we have 2.
Where's the other one located?
The other location we have is in Bay Ridge. It's on 4th Avenue on 86th Street, right near Century 21. If you guys are familiar with that area in Bay Ridge, and we have one right here on Avenue U in Sheepshead Bay, right East 19.
Okay.
So we started. My dad started out. The funny thing with him when he started out is actually he got fired from his job because my sister's birthday was on that day, and he asked to actually get off, and they didn't let him. And then he decided to start his own thing at that time.
I feel like that's a good push, right?
That is a good push.
There's no turning back.
Yeah, after that, there's no turning back. He saved up, tremendously over the time period that we were in. We were actually sleeping on the floor at that time too as well.
Wow. So when he started it, was everybody in your family involved right away?
Yes, my uncle got involved. We kind of gather everything together. This is really a family restaurant, and we started out from that, driving from that, and thank God, the success was there for us at that time of my life, and I started out helping them out too when I was like I said, 13 years old.
So when did you start taking reins and helping out?
Well, I started out as a busboy. Okay. He started out just like him. He started out. I would say I touched every base in the restaurant part. I started out busboy, dishwasher, cooker, helper, cashier, waiter. Wow. Every part that you can imagine in the restaurant. So I started pretty young, and that's where I actually kind of build my foundation and learn about how money works at that time, and how to make money. Because they actually gave me a little bit, and they didn't pay me a lot. Yeah. I think at the end of the day,
your payment was a roof over your head.
That is correct. Yeah. Oh no.
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, so then how did you start getting into real estate? So when did you make that transition from, working hospitality, then moving into real estate?
That's a great thing. In my life, there's a lot of, I kind of like venture out too as well. When I was starting it here, I was going to school, and when I picked up in real estate was when I have my real estate license for a very long time.
Okay.
But it was really never in use. I have it there.
So like it was just hanging?
Yes, it was hanging there. So I've been in the real estate business for over 10 years.
Okay.
You would say. And then when my venture of, branching out to start different business, unfortunately I hit a very deep bump at that time. It really hit me hard, and the financial wise too as well. So
like what kind of happened that kind of?
And at that time, it was really like my darkest period of time. I remember, and I'm having a kid too as well. And
wow! So you having your first kid?
My first kid, yeah.
Man.
And then the financial, we went down on that business that I ventured out with one of my, I would say, close family members that I trusted, and then it didn't work out.
Okay.
And we
was that also in hospitality, or was it something?
It was something different. It was something different at that time. It was more like in sailing as well.
Okay.
But the business didn't really work out. Okay. And then I kind of like have a very deep fall on that part, financial wise, and I was really going into a really deep, I would say, depression, because everything I put in is just gone. And first of all, my kids. Just I'm having a firstborn too, so real estate.
You were then, the eye, was it the part that the eye doesn't see? Like you were all up in your head.
Yeah, that was the part where I really didn't. But I kind of like fall back into real estate, because real estate, the one beauty of real estate is there's no cap in what you can make, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I seen in real estate, and what the time that you put into real estate. That's how I started. I left, and at that same period of time, the funny thing is, the same period of time, my friend, a very long friend of mine, his name is Mitchell Dong, he started another branch of his business, and he was I always see him. He's very, he was always out there. But in real estate, like I said, I have my real estate license for a very long time, but I didn't really understand real estate that much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like how many years were you in like roughly real estate before you actually started taking it seriously?
I would say 6 years.
Gotcha.
6 years or so.
So
and then I took it.
So after the downfall in the other business,
that's when I started relying on real estate a lot, because like I said, there wasn't really, like, what I've seen in the real estate is all these glamour, all the people and stuff like that, and they were making so much money. And
I feel like that's what everybody sees, but in reality, it's really
that's
hard.
That's right. It's the mindset too as well. So that's why I'm so glad at that point. I would say my darkest time, and then my buddy Mitch, he got me into the real estate. I went to his side. He got me under his wing and showed me actually what real estate is. Because real estate license, as you know, is very easy attained.
Yeah, very, very easy.
Very easy attained, but
and it's a business that you can start with little to no money.
That's
right?
correct.
You don't actually have to invest so much into it.
That is
compared to other businesses where you're.
Yes.
I don't know how much you put in your other business, but like.
Oh yes, other business you could put a lot. A lot of money into it, and then you're not going to see a return right away.
Yeah.
So, but real estate, the beauty, that's what I'm saying. You start out in real estate, it's not that much. You get the license, right? It's very inexpensive of getting the license itself, and you don't have to put so much money to invest in branding yourself. So that's what I learned. And then the mindset, like I said, after I went into his office and working under him and his guidance and pushing and learning. That's what one thing I want to give out there to people that want to get into real estate is finding the right mentor. I would say mentor that really guide you to actually push you and get you to where you want to get. You have to really. That's what mindset too would play a heavy part.
Because did you start with like buyers?
I
started out with like renters, then worked your way up to selling. I see your videos all the time of you like going with the envelopes and sending them out.
I started out. Well, first thing is I started out to learning the real estate. First of all, like learning exactly what to do You know, like what to say
like
or something like the process. Yes.
Okay.
And then I went into a little bit of rental in the beginning to get my feet kind of wet.
Okay.
And then after that, I started getting into buying and selling. So that's where the real magic happened is when you start having that buying and selling and learning the concept of how to do that. You know, because real estate, honestly, you have to really, people have to trust you.
Yeah.
Right? People have to really understand that you're actually helping out.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that trust, the transaction would never happen.
Yeah.
And they would never actually go through on that part.
So in regards to like you're starting, so you would say processes where you're first starting in rentals, dabbling there, and then when how was your like first like buy sell transaction? Like how did that go for you? Because I know mine was like I was winging it hard, right?
Yeah.
And I had I called my mentor like 500 times, like asking a million questions. What does this mean? You know, like
yes.
So was that similar for you? Like,
I remember my first kind of thing. It was my first go and get the listing. So my mentor he told me to go out there, just do it. But one thing is that, you know, like I push myself too as well. It's not like just him. I watch YouTube. I watch all the stuff that it is possible to actually help me mold myself to understand a little bit more. So that's what I'm saying. The mindset, you have to actually accept to learn, like learn and push yourself too, and get yourself out there to be able to learn this business. So he pushed me out there, tell me to go get the listing and kind of like learn from my mistake and come back and tell him exactly what went wrong, how I didn't get the listing and all that other stuff. I failed in the beginning because I didn't know my stuff. I didn't know really what to say, honestly. I didn't know what the market is. I don't know exactly the comps and everything else on that part.
So you failed forward?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. I remember one of my first listing appointments, it was actually in Howard Beach. And it was right after, I guess, one of those big storms. So there was like, the whole block was like for sale. And one of these things expired. And it was like in the middle of nowhere. And I remember going to try to get the listing. I had no presentation ready. I went there and they were like, so what would you do different than the other agents coming? And I was like, I'm going to do open houses. And I messed up so bad. I was so embarrassed that I walked out of there with my head like, but I knew from that point, I was like, I need to create a presentation. I need to have some type of value add that's going to set me apart, right?
That is true. So now, in my career, I have been named this past recent year a top producer in the company itself. The past year, we sold over 25 million in value of properties.
Sales value, awesome.
Yeah, in sales value. But the company itself, we actually, his company, my mentor, we do over 315 million already.
Wow.
In sales at this period of time, and one thing about that success, like I said, it brought me back. It brought me back. It gave me more motivation learning about this real estate, learning about the game. Like I said, there's no cap into the real estate market. It's just how you push yourself, how you hustle out there, how you actually can build
those relationships.
Build those relationships is the one thing, but have that right mindset. Why I keep going back to this mindset, because I feel like a lot of people they don't get it. They think like like all this glamour of real estate, like you come in and then all of a sudden you become rich or something like that. They don't see the background of the hustling that you have to put yourself of learning, because I'm still learning now. Yeah. Like
would you say the birth of your son like just pushed you into that hustle mode?
Yes.
Like, beyond that, like
that. Like I said, that's why real estate brought me back, because yes, at that time, financially I was really struggling, and then my first kid, kind of like really motivated me to push myself even further and dive in there, and really kind of drag me into learning and accepting to learn. Like you're
being
really
coachable and like
be approachable and kind of pick this business up for myself, and then that's how I kind of got myself to where I'm at right now.
Awesome. Yeah. So another quick question. So work-life balance, right? Is there a lack there? Because I don't know how you do it. You're a father. You have 2 restaurants, and then you dive into real estate. You're starting to become a top producing real estate agent.
Yes.
Right. So how do you balance those 3? Like, what does a normal day for you kind of look like?
It's a little chaotic, but you have to have a systematic.
Yeah, do you sleep?
I would say no, I don't. No, I do. But your mind don't sleep. A lot of coffee. But but for real, my mind don't sleep. My mind really doesn't sleep. I mean, if you're really into it, like, it's like something that you really love. You always think about it every day in, because every deal that I'm seeing nowadays is so amazing to me, is because every deal is different.
Yeah.
Every deal
is ever the same.
Yeah, nothing is. Every case is different, because when you go into the buying and selling, you're helping people.
Hello. Welcome. Yeah, you're helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is natural. We're in the middle of the restaurant.
I know the restaurant's still functioning. So yeah. So where were we at with again?
So you said that.
I lost my mind thought.
You said. Yeah, entrepreneur brain. You said that
yes,
like,
my mind
your mind is always racing, it's always running. I feel like that's something that's really big for me too. Like sometimes I spend like hours before bed, or like right before I fall asleep, just thinking about like the next moves and things of that nature. And I always have a journal that I write stuff in to get it out of my brain so I can sleep.
Yes, that's right. That's why I remember this from my mentor too. He said that real estate is actually kind of like a chess game. It's always, you have to know the next step.
Yeah.
And then we're provided the next step and understand the different deals and different angles. What can you, kind of like prepare yourself for that, because buying and selling is different. Like for seller, they want top dollar, right? And their emotion attachment into the property as well is you have to understand that process too. Yeah. So for that case, seller have that like I said, the mindset of their thing is they want more money, and they have emotional involved. So how are you going to solve that problem for them to make them ease and move on to the next?
And trust you with their biggest investment.
That's right. That's the biggest life. I always say a lot of people, that's the biggest asset in their life. So to be able to have that trust that you can help them to kind of bring them to the next journey of their lifetime. That's what I enjoy so much too. Yeah. That I could be part of that and helping them, guiding them on that way to that next journey of theirs. And then for the buyers, they of course the buyers always want like lowball, right? Yeah. They want something.
And they want the dream.
They want the dream, yes. But one thing with the buyers too is that they have to fall in love. How you kind of like have them understand and fall in love with the house itself. Right, because that's the biggest pressure of their life too as well. Yeah. And they have to imagine themselves living there for I would say a lot of people is the rest of their life.
Yeah, for sure. Right. So you would say EQ. Well, I spoke to Lily Trent. She was actually on a past podcast where she was talking about the importance of EQ, emotional intelligence. Right. I feel like when it comes to buying and selling, your EQ levels have to be a lot higher. Yeah. Right, you have to really develop the empathy, because if you're not empathetic or understand that these people are attached to their biggest asset, you're just gonna look like someone who's after dollar signs, right?
That's correct.
So I know we got off topic because someone walked in, but what does your schedule look like? Because you're also running these two restaurants and.
Oh yes, my schedule, like I said, you have to
start really early.
I started really, I would say early. Every day. I want to get up like at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's what a lot of people do. But I have kids in the house, so sleep was a big priority for me nowadays. But I wake up, like really early in the day, trying to start it out on that part, and then get prepare myself, check up my emails, follow up, and see what my next day, like my day, how it is. I kind of like plan it out beforehand, before I go to sleep. That's why I stay up.
So you have a nighttime ritual that you plot out your day, your follow-ups at nighttime,
That's
and you wake up and start based on what you said at nighttime. Okay.
That's how I did. Yeah, like before the day start, I usually do it before that. And then I have everything ready systematically. So I just have to tackle everything, prior to the day. So that's how I would start my day. And then most important thing is go like every hour is there's something, especially like for the restaurant too. Yeah. You don't know exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah. At the restaurant, employees or customers and everything else. So I kind of like start out my day with my real estate in the beginning.
Okay.
At that time, and then after that is the restaurant, and then juggling to my other venture right now is the app itself, the technologies.
Definitely.
Yes.
We definitely have to talk about that. Like,
that's another.
But so you wake up and then you do your real estate like follow up situation in the morning. So like that's like emails, calls.
Yes, emails.
Do you do that from the restaurant, or you just kind of like?
Well, I do that at my house in the beginning, and then after that, is going to be kind of like remotely too as well. And I go to, sometimes I stop by the office, if I have to do certain things on the office, getting printouts, doing the mailings and stuff like that. I will stop by the office, and then after that, I'll stop by the restaurants.
Okay, cool.
And then
to make sure everything's still
everything is there, and then I go to both places randomly. I would say in the day, try to hit both places, and then after that, I go to talk to remotely right now at the moment with my partner for the app. And
that's kind of like your day.
That's kind of like my day, and then after that is mostly my family, because now I after this all these thing that's happening in the world right now
is 2020, the infamous 2020.
Yeah, I kind of like you have to really put that into your schedule as well, like family time, because that's very important to me.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
kind of like I was raised up that way, and family is always my first priority, I would say. That's why what I'm doing now and everything else is for them, right? It's not really like for me anymore. It's actually for them and their stuff. So family is always my thing.
So how many kids do you have now?
I have 3 kids, 2 girls and 1 boy.
Oh man, you gotta definitely make time.
You gotta really make
like,
time.
You say evening times usually just like dedicate to family.
Yes.
And then plot out your day and then repeat and
then repeat. Yes.
So I mean, I really applaud the fact that you have 3 different ventures. But now let's talk about your 4th one, right? So obviously I love art. Like that's something that I like doing on the side. Like I like making music. I love like the creative side. We love editing videos. Me and Amanda, we love creating podcast stuff. So what kind of got you into art? Like what made you like kind of go that direction? Because I see that there's art all over the restaurant. We'll put down the podcast so you can actually see like the street art vibe that you have here.
Oh yeah. Well, I always have art in the back of my head. I always actually appreciate art too. And one thing I picked up art too is my father. He actually liked art as well. He bought the first paint that I believe in our house was on a cruise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that's actually funny because one of the earliest like me getting into like painting was I went on a cruise and they had like that art exhibit where you can go and buy art there. Yeah. And I was like looking at the different pieces and them telling stories about the artist stuff. I was like, wow, that's really like interesting. Like
so art was always in the back of my head. I always appreciate art. I love it. And
so he bought his first art on a cruise.
Yeah, his first art was on the cruise. We were actually bidding on that art too. It was funny. I like that. It's kind of like they put out a number and then we start bidding. In the beginning, it was just having fun, right? Yeah. And then we appreciate the art too. That's why we bid on that art. The piece of art, I believe it was Thomas Kane. It was a very nice art where you actually, they show us on the cruise was like you dim the light and the art kind of like dimmed down as well. So you have the background, if the lights go brighter, the art become almost like a daytime in a way. They give you that day vibe. Wow. So that really hit me at that part. I was like, wow, that's really amazing that what art can do. And then I start getting into a little bit more of art when I look at other different artists, what they do as well. To get their art out there, so that's how I got to appreciate art.
So do you do any art yourself? Like, do you paint? Do you do the things, or are you more into like I like observing and like?
I'm more of an observing guy. Okay. Well, myself, I used to do a little bit art myself. I used to do like cartoon kind of way. Okay. I do draw a little bit about when I was in high school. I did do a little a graffiti here and there too, as you can see in the store. So I like that, we started out that art pod with and it related to real estate too. So this person that I met, my partner now, he was an investor himself too. Mm-hmm. So he was in
real estate or in art?
In real estate. So he's buying something from me, investment properties. That's how I got to know him. Okay. And he was a tech guy, and then he was buying property for investment. So I kind of like dive in deeper with him, and then he was starting out a new project. Like I said, about helping the art community and everything else. So I kind of clicked right there with him. So we got in a little bit more deeper. His name is King Lee, and my other partner is Giovanna.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then we started out.
It's a small world.
It is a small world. It is a small world. And then we got into art, talking about art, and then he had this platform, artpot.net. If you guys could check it out, is beautiful because he showcased. The thing is that we want to showcase the artists and has a platform for them to connect with the consumer. In a way, directly from the artist to the consumer himself, not through kind of like, put it this way, a middle person. You can actually talk to the consumer and the artist too on that platform, and then they could showcase virtual tour on the app itself. We do virtual tour for the artist, and we do kind of like an AR where the painting, before you purchase the art, you actually put it on your wall with AR, like artificial kind of like intelligence. You actually scan the wall and then you put your painting on that wall too. So the platform, that's what we kind of like now gradually got that in there. But the the journey, it was an up and down.
Yeah, I mean,
to get where we are now, it was.
You have over 1,000 artists on the platform now.
Yes, now
That's
we have
amazing.
over 1,000 artists on
How
there.
did you guys like promote it? You guys like run like Facebook ads, or like is there any like particular method that you had behind it?
The platform is still young.
Okay.
It's still kind of like considered as a startup right now, and we have like I said, the budget is not really really there, but we.
It's a work in progress.
Yes, work in progress. We do everything very kind of like promoting ourselves very like on social media. That's where a lot of things is happening for us. Is social media, because why not? Because it's free. Everything is there, and the beauty of the social media is that you can get it out there very quickly. It's not like the traditional route where you like doing like advertisement on newspaper and all that other stuff. So now you can get your words out in like seconds.
Yeah, for sure. So press release all the time.
Yes, press release all the time, and for that side, that's where we're at on that part of the art.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, really cool. So what's next for you, right? So besides, I know you already have 4 businesses, right?
Yeah.
So are you gonna like call it and say these are my 4 businesses that I'm gonna focus on, or you're always open to new ventures as well?
I'm always open for new venture. That's why kind of like in a way I put myself as an entrepreneur now.
Okay.
Because I'm always open-minded for new things, and I like to do new things all the time.
Yeah, man.
And the beauty of life is that you never stop learning.
Yeah.
And never stop growing. Yeah, you can't, because by the time you stop growing, you're down the hole. That's how I put myself in, and especially because of what I kind of like witnessed to as well on the time when I was in my really darkest time. Wanting certain things or wanting lifestyles in a way for my kids and my family. I really have to push myself to be more. Right, to learn and to be able to have that. So would you say the darkest times is what actually helped you the most, right? You learn the most in the darkest times compared to the easy times or the comfortable times. Yes.
I feel like sometimes you just gotta stretch, and the universe sometimes creates that opportunity for you to stretch.
Yes.
By putting you in that little shithole that you have to climb out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That hole is it really molded me to the person I really appreciate now, and got me to where I'm at this moment of life too, because I learned so much, because the thing is, you don't appreciate things until you fail, right? That's why so many successful people say they always encourage a failure, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where you actually really learn. Like, for instance, like even for a baby, right? You don't know how to walk until you actually fall.
Yeah.
And then appreciate, actually standing up and start walking again. So that's to me that is a really how I kind of like got myself and pushing myself to where I am today, to becoming top producer and venturing out doing business and working my butt off to attain to what I want.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So would you say, because I always ask this for everybody that's on the podcast, what do you read books? Like, are you like a big reader, or are you more like audiobook type person? Like,
I do both, actually, honestly, because the time.
Where do you find time?
Yeah, the time. Yeah, I love audiobook now because every time I'm in the car, I actually listen to audiobook, and that actually get me thinking and help me actually find new ideas and learning new stuff every time.
So what would you say is one of the most inspirational books for you personally? Because like I know for me it was like Rich Dad Poor Dad and like The Secret, stuff like that. Like for you, is there any like one that like really stuck out that you're like, wow, that's what I want to be an entrepreneur? Like, was there any of those books that like?
Yes, one book really got me was actually the Rich Dad Poor Dad mindset that I would say everybody started out reading that part, you know, from Robert Kiyosaki, yeah. And then one book that really got me kind of like motivated was Josh Opener.
Oh yeah,
His
what was the name? I actually read one of his the first book he created.
Yeah, this one was the second one that that he created. Okay, it was I think Close.
Oh, The Close.
Yes, The Close. That one really got me into to motivate me to push myself even further and learn the game a little bit more in depth on that side. So that books actually stand out and helped me a lot on that part.
Awesome.
When I was learning real estate. Yeah.
I actually remember that book. Like I was actually in LA when I read that.
Oh yeah.
And I remember him telling the story about how he was next to Tyler Perry on a treadmill, and he would move little by little closer to Tyler Perry on the treadmill.
Oh yeah.
So he can actually speak to him.
Oh wow.
And he never really closed real estate before that, and one of his first listings were like multi-million-dollar listings.
And
crazy.
And the beauty is the hustle that he actually do too. Like you know, like people don't see that. You know, like people
that he brings to it.
Yeah,
they think it's so easy, and it's just
that's right. It doesn't mean like he became like that multi like millionaire. You call the show on the multi-millionaire listing or multi-million-dollar listing. $1 million listing. He was, he has to hustle his way to get there too as well. Like the interview and all that he did. It was
the Frederick from the New York one.
Yes, Frederick.
His story is actually really inspiring too. Like he started like he had an idea. He was always how he was. He was always super like out there.
Yeah.
But before he would like go to showings in like sneakers and like stuff like that, and he like kind of like transformed and. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to put himself out there, right?
Yes.
Like you never know you're $1 million realtor until you actually embody that fully.
So, that's correct because, like I said, we bring it back to real estate. Real estate is not like $1 million listing. Unfortunately, that's a TV show. Is the grind that you actually have to do to become to where you at, today. You have to put yourself, out there and be able to accept the thing is to learn. That's the hardest thing. That's what I'm seeing in a lot of agent that I'm dealing with too as well, like new agents that's coming on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They don't have that right mindset that you coming in that you have to kind of like learn. They always think that like
they're just gonna start, and sometimes like people do have that like ability where they just hit the ground running and they're actually really good and they have the processes already in their brain or whatever. But a lot of people come in thinking that I'm just going to show houses and it's going to sell.
That's right.
Right? But they don't like take in the consideration that where you're going to find the product.
That's right.
What are you going to do and how are you going to
get the product?
Yeah, how are you going to work with these people that are going to buy the product? Right?
That's right.
There's a lot that goes into it. Another thing that I wanted to ask you, right? I always ask this to everybody, and because you're an entrepreneur, right? If you had one piece of advice for someone who just wants to start their empire, wants to start building a new business or something like that, what would you recommend or what would you tell them, right? Like, what's something that they should focus on to possibly, like, get started with their business venture?
I would say start young.
Start young? Start early?
Start young and start learning how to fail. I think that's the biggest thing that you can actually learn quick. That's why I always, kind of like... in a way, go back to Jack Ma. If you hear it, he always this always got me too as well. Like you start young because by the time it is where you are right now, like if you're hitting like you're 40 or 50, you don't have that timeline anymore. So when you start young, you can still pick yourself back up. So that's why his time frame, if quote that for Jack Ma, he said when you're in the 20 to your 30, you should actually learn how to fail. And then by your 30, like kind of like your 30 to your 35 and stuff like that, find the right, right field where you want to be at, and then by 30 and 40, plan out, your kind of like your retirement in a way, and
And keep going.
and keep going and keep grinding at that time. So
approach everything. One thing I would say is like approach everything fearlessly, in a sense where you're going to fail. It's
Yes.
like mandatory.
Yeah,
like
it's
in
mandatory.
entrepreneurship, a lot of people don't know. Like before real estate, I tried to start a dog walking company.
Oh wow.
That failed. I was I realized very early that I don't want to be a dog walker.
Yeah.
I also realized that location is very important because I was going from Brooklyn to Manhattan trying to walk. I tried to walk a Great Dane once. I was bigger than I was, and I was like, this is not for me, right?
Yeah.
And I liquidated that quickly. I feel like every entrepreneur, anyone who's trying to like start something, sometimes it's just a happy accident, right? You just meet the right people and like the stars align, and you just gotta be like, let's fail forward. Like it's gonna not work out all the time.
So that's why I say fail, because when you fail, you pick up a lot more. If you don't fail, like you don't know, like I said, if you don't know what failure is, you don't know how to do the next step in a way. How you prepare yourself to actually become successful, right? So that's why failure is very important when you're young, because you have that capability of failing to learn.
Yeah,
That's
picking it up.
Picking it up. That like really put yourself. That's kind of like in a way drive myself. Because I fail in that big deal that I did venture out. For yourself.
Yeah, I feel like that biggest, like the bigger the fall in the very beginning, the easier it is to like, it can't be that bad, right? Like when you fail next time, it's not going to be as bad.
That's right.
So you're like, at least I didn't fail that big, right? I feel like that's where it always goes. Like my first year in real estate, negative $8,000, like I sucked. Like I was horrible. And I feel like without that negative $8,000 a year, I would have never made it to where I was now. Because I learned everything not to do, right? Like,
that's right. Yeah.
You learn what not to do.
That's right. Yeah. Correct. Learn what not to do. After you fail, you learn now not to do that. And then you actually prepare yourself better and better and better every day. That's why the process for me too is like, that's why I'm saying you have to kind of learn every day, except to learn every single day.
Awesome.
And learn about other people's failure too. Read books or watch videos or anything else out there that people put. But for the younger generation, for the audience as well over here, what I want to put out on their thing, yes, accept the failure and kind of like learn from that mistake and keep hustling. Because for a guy like myself, I would say without like a really full educational and still can be where I'm at today, an entrepreneur and become successful in real estate, that anybody can do it. I believe anybody can do it if they put their time, effort, and accepting how to learn and how to actually appreciate the failure, and
don't overthink it. Just go.
That's right. Don't overthink it and just do it. Put yourself out there, like they say, take that little leap.
Yeah.
A lot of people, saying that take that leap. Like don't scare about the fall, but but you can actually kind of like prepare you in a way, like. If you fall, you know how to stand back up again. That's the beauty of this. If you fall down, learn how to pick yourself back up, and then learn from that mistake, and then make yourself better every single day.
And I want to call all the realtors out there out, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. My man manages 2 restaurants. He is a realtor, and he finds time to be a top producer, right? So, and he's developing an app. So if he's able to do those 3 things, and if you're a younger realtor, there's no excuse. There's no excuse whatsoever.
There's no excuse.
So I really want to thank you for allowing us to interview and telling your story. I just wanted to ask one thing. Where can people find you if they wanted to learn a little more about your app, if they wanted to follow you on, I know there's no more TikTok. I used to love your TikToks, by the way. Where can they find you on like Instagram? I know it sucks. It's horrible. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Well, now they have the other one on Instagram called
the Reels. So
the Reels. So
I hope to see you more on those things.
I'm preparing myself on that. So where you actually find me, you can follow me for real estate is Brian T Ngo on Instagram. That's BRIAN and then T and then NGO. That's where I'm at on Instagram. And then on Facebook as well, you can find me on Brian NGO. Same thing. Okay. Or Momentum. That's where my real estate on that side on Facebook. And then you can find me on artpot.net. Artpot.net. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where my platform for artists and showcasing artists and everything else on there. You can find me on that platform. So and for unfortunately to say, you usually can find me on TikTok too for is Brian, but now. I kind of like have to maybe consider of migrating that to Instagram on Reels.
Okay.
But it just sucks how why would you do something to TikTok like that? Because I would say at the period of time where we have actually I learned how to pick up TikTok.
Oh, you were like really
Yeah,
good.
I just got into TikTok, and it was the thing I like the beauty about the TikTok thing is like
It's not so serious.
yeah, it's not so serious and it's fun, and then you've seen other people like dancing and all that. Mostly that's what it is. The platform is entertaining, so
Yeah,
that's
man,
like
I really want to thank you, man. I really do appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure, Alex.
Yeah, man. So just so you guys know, this is brought to you guys by Design for Realtors. Without it, we wouldn't be able to host all these free podcasts and do everything that we're able to do. So we really appreciate anyone who's contributing to Design for Realtors at this time. But also, if you guys want to check out our action plan, it's new, it's awesome. Go check it out. And yeah, man, I'm super excited to see where you are in like 4 years, man. You're probably gonna own like the world.
Well,
You're gonna have like 6 restaurants and have like 3 more apps. And
well, the goal is not going to stop. That's the beauty. You keep going. Keep hustling.
Keep hustling.
Keep hustling out there.
So you heard it here first, guys. Keep hustling.
Keep hustling.
Keep chasing the dream.
Keep chasing the dream, because for a guy like myself, to do what it is, anybody. I believe anybody can do it. Honestly, put your mind to it, set your goal, and attack it.
There you go, man.
And like
Go
I said,
after it.
don't forget, accept the failure. That's the only thing, and learn from it.
Awesome, man. Thank you so
All
much.
right, no problem. Thank you, Alex.